the hate army troll.
It's the hate army,
bro. Hate army.
Shout out to hate.
Good vibes to the
Shout
hate
out to
army.
hate.
Shout out to hate.
Shout out
Shout
for
out to
hate.
hate.
Shout out to hate.
Shout out for
Shout
hate.
out for hate.
It's actually a news report.
Disturbing allegations are surfacing in a very unexpected place. A man who is supposed to bring joy and holiness to the Jewish ritual of circumcision is now accused of something unthinkable, spreading a deadly disease to innocent babies.
We talked
News
about this
12's Tara
before.
Rosenblum joins us now with her special report, Cradle of Secrets.
It's a topic that not many people want to talk about, but an unlikely whistleblower, a young Orthodox Jewish woman, is now speaking out, claiming a local rabbi is infecting babies, making them sick. And what's worse, she says no one is doing anything to stop him. For centuries, when a Jewish baby boy is born, the ancient ritual of circumcision is performed. But in some ultra-Orthodox communities, religious leaders, known as moyals, also engage in something controversial during the bris. In a practice known as metzitza b'peh, or just...
You don't think this is a real news report? This is, right? I think this is. It looked like it was real.
MVP, the moil actually uses his mouth to suck the blood from the infant's penis after he cuts off the foreskin.
Oh my God, we talked about this. That this was a practice or something at one point. Now, I don't know if they still do it, right? But it certainly looked like it's a real practice that they used to do. And I mean, here's the thing. I can understand tradition. By the way, let's get off this frame, shall we?
Some babies involved.
I can understand tradition, all right? I get tradition. I don't understand why tradition persists when times change, right? Like, there's things culturally today, for example, that we absolutely, positively do not believe are right, but things that were historically used to happen, okay? I kid you not. I've seen movies that were considered top-level Hollywood movies, top actors and actresses, where people are wearing blackface. I've seen it. There's one called Holiday Inn. It's a very classic holiday movie where there's an inn where they perform musical numbers for each seasonal holiday. There's one for Easter. There's one for all of this. There's an entire thing. They're all in blackface. And at that point, everyone was fine with it. There was no problem with it. Today, culturally, we look at that. We're like, that's insane. Like, no, it's so insensitive. It's messed up. Why, you know, if they're going to do that, why not hire African-American actors to do the scene instead of having white people in blackface? It's fucked up, right? So, there's things that change over time. You understand? Cultural things that change. They used to think that smoking was great. Smoking was culturally great. You're hip if you smoke. It's great. Now today, it's like, dude, what are you, crazy? Smoking, you get lung cancer. You die. You're an idiot, right? Okay, in the past, for some weird reason, in their culture, they used to do this practice, right? Does that mean you do it forever just because it's tradition? Or at one point, do you say, okay, times have changed. Knowledge has changed. Cultural norms have changed. Society has changed. Everything has changed. We know this is not good. Things have to change. Stop doing it, right? What? I mean, you don't just keep doing the thing that you know is bad. Now, here's the thing. Don't erase the history. Don't pretend like it never happened. Teach. Explain to people this is how it used to be. Here's why this is not good today in a modern setting, right? Educate. Let people know that the past happened and this is why we don't do those things anymore. That way people learn from the past and will understand the concept of improvement over time. If you hide the past, you can never learn from it and become better. And in fact, if you hide your past, you're destined to repeat it, correct? So in this case, explain what the tradition was, where it came from, but don't keep doing the tradition. There's no point in doing that. There's no, that doesn't do anything, right? We know why this is bad. We know medically it's awful. It's just not, why would you continue with this, right?
In our area, and it's all because of a local rabbi who's alleged to have a sexually transmitted disease.
The rabbis are going to take care of it. They won't let him get away with it.
According to these documents we obtained from the state health department, Rabbi Yitzhak Fisher of Muncie has been tied to at least 3 herpes infections in babies, one of whom died back in 2004. Shortly after the tragic death, Rabbi Fisher was forbidden from practicing NBP in New York. But despite this state-issued ban, one concerned mother tells us the infected moil is still placing innocent lives at risk.
They should be arresting Rabbi Fisher. He should be in jail for murder, for homicide, for infanticide.
This outraged parent, Will call Rena, who asked us to disguise her face and voice, claims she can prove Rabbi Fisher is still practicing.
That's a pretty poor disguise of face and voice. Like, first of all, that voice you could easily, with a computer, change it back to the original. And that blurring, I mean, if you saw that person on the street, you'd probably figure out just from their build who that is. What a horrible way to disguise their identity. That did not work out very well.
She says she very recently secretly recorded a phone conversation with him in which she requested the rabbi to perform the controversial service.
There's nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about. I can only do interruption practice. That's perfectly okay.
But at one point during the call, Rena questions the safety of oral suction and references the recently reported death of a baby in New York City just last September.
The baby passed away on Rosh Hashanah. It took them 5 months to the health department to convince the medical examiner to add the word oral suction to record the death. The medical examiner did not want to do it. But the newspaper picked it up and was enough to make the issue.
Were you shocked when Rabbi Fisher told you that?
Shocked is an understatement. It's unbelievable that this goes on, and this man is maiming and killing children, babies.
Yet we found no shortage of Hasidic Jews in Muncie willing to defend the rabbi.
Everybody knows he's an honest person.
And his actions.
We used him and his son in the past, and we've been very happy with him.
Traditionally, it's the right thing to do, and we think he's a good person and he's doing it right.
This is part of our law, what we have to do.
Not so, says Rabbi Yehoshua Krohn.
It makes me cringe.
The 5th-generation Moyle lives just minutes away from Rabbi Fisher, who practices MBP in a very different way.
Judaism mandates that we do this mitzvah, this commandment, but in a way that is na'im, which is sweet, meaning that there is no hurt. The point is that there is no harm to the child. In religious circles where they want the metzitza b'peh, we use only the tube. And for those that want it over and beyond the tube, we'll call someone who will do it that way for them.
But you never know when that someone else could have a sexually transmitted disease.
It's just insane. Like, what? For example, and again, I'm Roman Catholic, so everyone knows this. I've said this before. I grew up Roman Catholic. There are entire books in the Bible, okay, that are like old laws of how to live your life. They tell you how to harvest your crops. They tell you how much you need to give up to God. They tell you about sacrificing animals. They tell you about all these old laws, correct? None of those apply to modern day, right? You don't read the Bible and say, oh, well, I have to go be a farmer now and give my wheat up to God, right? Like that, you understand this is outdated stuff, right? So how on earth do we not understand that this is outdated and you shouldn't be doing this anymore? At one point, maybe it made sense because we were more ignorant people, right? Culturally, we didn't get it. Now we get it. So why would you continue to do it? You know what I mean? Like, I think we can continue on now. I mean, that's just insane that this is it's obviously a true news report. It's wild. It's insanity that humans are so stuck in tradition, they refuse to improve over time. Wow.
Typically helps me more than anything.